Now, Trump and Zelensky had an angry spat while discussing peace measures at the Oval Office. This unprecedented tense Oval Office meeting has in fact ended the talks between Ukraine and the US abruptly, as Zelensky's visit had to end as well. And now questions, of course, are being raised as further peace efforts are concerned. Zelensky had to leave the White House after this particular clash, and Trump has called Zelensky disrespectful after this. Remember, during the shouting match between Trump and Zelensky, there were several allegations or charges that were made from either side. Trump, in fact, saying that Zelensky was gambling with World War III. On the other hand, Zelensky had invoked Putin and enraged Trump. He also said that they were counting on the US to stop Putin. Listen into these reactions.
Broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come to the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems?
What?
Bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards.
I'm not playing cards.
Right now, you don't.
You're
playing cards.
Mr. President.
You're playing
I'm very
cards.
serious.
You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once?
A lot of times.
No, in this entire meeting, you said thank you.
Even today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war,
He's not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country is in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No, you've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning. You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks in this cabinet, and not only in this cabinet.
We gave you, through this stupid president, $350 billion.
We
gave you military equipment, and you men are brave, but they had to use our military.
What about
if you didn't have our military equipment,
if you
didn't have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
maybe
new.
Less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this.
Again, just say thank you.
I said a lot of times to American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards. You're buried there. Your people are dying. You're running low on soldiers. Listen, you're running low on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing. And then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go, and I wanted this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
With guarantees.
Because you get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't with me.
For you what,
that wasn't with me. That was with a guy named Biden, who was not a smart person.
That was with Obama. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is, Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards. Well, he says he wants it now. He wants to come back right now, but I can't do that.
Do you want immediate ceasefire? Do you want immediate ceasefire?
They should have an immediate ceasefire. That was the other thing. He didn't want to do about ceasefire. A ceasefire could take place immediately. A contract, if you want to end the war, you sign up an agreement. That's going to take a period of time. It takes time. I want it to end immediately. And I think if you had a ceasefire, it would be a ceasefire, a real one, that would end it. But he doesn't want to do that, that's fine. Do a better deal. I want it to end immediately. I want a ceasefire now. He says, oh, I don't want a ceasefire. Well, all of a sudden, he's a big shot because he has the U.S. on his side. Either we're going to end it or let him fight it out. And if he fights it out, it's not going to be pretty. Because without us, he doesn't win.
Months of growing tensions and unease between the leaders of Ukraine and the US culminated on Friday in an extraordinary display of the breaking down of diplomatic relations. It was an Oval Office meeting that turned into a shouting match that has now upended US-Ukraine relations and broken the bond in many ways between the US and Europe. That transatlantic relationship is now looking very different after what took place on Friday afternoon. It all seemed to start when Donald Trump was asked whether he backed Volodymyr Zelensky or Vladimir Putin, and he said he was in the middle, which unsettled the room. J.D. Vance then got involved, accusing the Ukrainian leader of being disrespectful and ungrateful for 3 years of military support. Donald Trump also said that he was not acting thankful, and that was not a nice thing, suggesting that without the US backing, the Ukrainian country would fall apart. Zelensky, on his part, did not flatter the US president, did not take that strategy, as we've seen other European leaders do this week. The French president, the UK prime minister, both also in the Oval Office during the course of this week, they used flattery. Instead, we saw a rather prickly, rather defensive, rather combative Zelensky, very much taking the bait that was laid out for him by J.D. Vance. It all ended rather disastrously, with the Ukrainians being ejected from the White House. The rare earths deal that Volodymyr Zelensky was there to sign was cancelled. The joint press conference between Trump and Zelensky was scrapped. And as a final rebuke, Donald Trump on social media suggested that Zelensky was not ready for peace. We've had plenty of reaction from this, including from Senator Lindsey Graham, a Republican who in the past has backed aid for Ukraine. He said the meeting was a complete and utter disaster. And he said, I don't think we can ever do business with Zelensky again, suggesting that he should resign. But on the Democratic side of the aisle, all of the fire and the anger was directed at Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. Senator Chris Coons, a Democratic senator, said what we saw in the Oval Office was beyond disgraceful. Trump and Vance berating Zelensky is an embarrassment for America and a betrayal of our allies. Where things go from here is now very much unclear. There is no suggestion of a future meeting between the two leaders. That rare earths deal seems to be completely off the table, which means the safety and the security of Ukraine and even the possibility of peace, all of that seems to be gone for now, with seemingly no way to repair what took place on Friday. Nick Harper, NDTV, Washington.